Hi there everybody, Steve. Don't know why I started this video while I'm doing the dishes, but I'm doing the dishes. I'm kind of going into Steve Health Phase 2.0. That just sounds douchey just saying it that way, but what I'm getting at is I am getting back into a more healthy phase in my life, which I did a little less than about a year ago, when I was trying to eat better. And my diet hasn't been horrible since then, but pretty much since I've been back from New Orleans, I've really kind of let I mean, there's been a lot of like, oh God, oh, I'm tired today, I want to work on stuff, so I'm just going to DoorDash something. And you DoorDash enough unhealthy items, and things get a little erratic. However, when I was doing that last year, that was pretty much solely about eating healthier for the sake of my fibromyalgia, whereas this is much more than that. There's a lot more things at play here than just my diet, which I am shifting. I'm recording this it's Black Friday today. In case you're wondering, no, this is not Crystal Code Red Mountain Dew. No, I'm making tea in this because unfortunately the big jug I used to use to drink water out of that my girlfriend got me, I don't think it got cleaned well enough one time, and I grabbed it after not using it for like 3 months, and I could smell a moldy, musty smell. I was like, no, sorry. I'm gonna have to get another one, because that's one of the primary ways I remember to drink water is to use something big. If I'm filling up individual glasses, I'm gonna forget. So if I get a big thing, so this is my temporary holdover till I get a new, not consistently, but at least for today. I put a peppermint tea bag in, a little bit of sugar, and I'm shaking it around, and I'm having some tea. 67 ounces of delicious homemade Mountain Dew tea. But I'm going to try not to make the mistake that I've made in the past. Those of you that have watched my content and at least have kind of a feel for my behavioral patterns, you'll probably not be surprised when I say that I'm one of those people that I don't like to be patient and really slowly ease something out. I want to get down to work, I want to freaking get it done and move on to the next thing. And I think also the older I get, the more that becomes a thing. Like, I got less time left in my life, I gotta get this shit done. So I have a tendency to go very cold turkey when I do dietary changes. I go from I've had McDonald's 5 days in a row to salads and apples, and basic science shows that if you change your diet that rapidly, it actually can make you kind of sick. And I know that when I try to do that, I'm lucky to last 2 weeks before I fall back into previous health habits. So I'm gonna really try to ease my way into this. So I bought a salad to eat today. I've got a couple apples to eat today. But maybe for dinner I have something that's a little bit, not super unhealthy, but something that's a little bit, more kind of what I've been eating recently, like soup or a sandwich or something like that. And do a gradual transition, which will be easier on me. It feels like you're not making as big of a sacrifice. So you're eating a salad and you're like, God, I could really use a fucking burger right now. And also, hopefully, health-wise, how I feel, because I don't need any help right now feeling crappy, the gradual effects, or there will be more gradual effects rather than going from a shitty diet to a great diet, or at least a much improved diet. But it's not just, excuse me, it's not just about the diet, which usually, if I'm starting to feel like I'm getting a little run down and out of shape, and obviously I have other factors at play now. It's like, oh, well, go out and start walking each day. You walk a lot at work, so that takes up most of that, and you just gotta eat better. And then that's usually where I stop. But there's lots of other stuff I need to remember. Namely, I know that this is tea, but drinking my freaking water every day, which I have a horrible record. I'm like a career criminal when it comes to drinking water, meaning I don't know what the hell it's supposed to mean, but it's pretty much you need to go straight and you just can't. I know I need to drink water and I just keep forgetting. I'll wake up, be like, oh, I need to drink water today, and then it gets to the end of the day, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't drink any water today again. But that said, you can see here I've kind of weaseled my way into, this is my girlfriend's desk technically that she got for when she was in school, and like her computer's there, and I get comments periodically when the old monitor here shows up in the background, the yellowing from age. My girlfriend is in her late 20s, and she's convinced she can't really remember a time in her life when so she thinks this monitor is probably older than her. I don't know. I don't know monitor life. I just know that this monitor is very old, and I've gotten some comments on my channel like, "Oh my God, it's a whatever it's a compact monitor." I don't really know much beyond that with these speakers that click in on the side. But anyway, that's not the focus. Anyway, I've started kind of commandeering this space because she's not really on this computer that often. And sitting here in my office chair that I pretty much never use, this is a much better situation. Just for frame of reference, a lot of the time that I spend at my computer, which is obviously a lot, considering just my YouTube stuff, and besides other things, I spend a lot of my time like this. So posture up here isn't utterly horrible, but I pretty much spend a couple hours a day sometimes with this mashed forward, my back cranked like this, and then I wonder why I randomly will get like soreness in my torso muscles when you're like this all the time. It's obvious I should have taken notice of this and realized this is not a good setup. But for some reason, you know, I get down to work and stuff just flies out of my head. So I realized I need to not be sitting like that. Even if I'm upright, I can still feel this like push towards the base of my stomach, kind of into my thighs, and you know, that's not good for your thighs and your hips. And so I'm like, okay, well, if I'm gonna be editing stuff, and again, my girlfriend's not really up here often anyway, if I'm up here, I can sit down in the seat. I usually have one leg crossed like this. I don't know why. But I can sit here and I can type like this. And you can already see a massive improvement in posture. I used to have, come on, you piece of crap. I used to have my own little computer desk like this that I admit I didn't really use that often. But I had it, and I would sometimes use it, and it allowed me to be more level as opposed to that. And that's kind of the way I've been working almost since like the last 2 years, like midway through the pandemic. Because I would sit at a table sometimes, which was better. But by getting to the later part of 2020, I started just sitting on my futon with a little thing in front of me and, you know, working like this. And then wondering why you feel like crap all the time. Yeah, stretch it, stretch it. I'm 37 now. I want 37. You know, when I turned 37, I started talking to people, and I was like, you know, nobody ever talks about being 37. I obviously, you know, 35, 40, the 5s and the 0s, everyone talks about. They're these, you know, transitional, they're just, you know, they're these building blocks to the next phase of your life. But I've heard about people talking about being 36 and 38, and of course 39, because next year you're turning 40. But I never hear anybody talk about being 37. So I thought, this is kind of a mystery year. What am I going to do with this year? And obviously, there's lots of other things I can do, but I want this to be a year of health. And I'm very much a creature of habit, like most people are. So I know that the longer I shift into better habits, as long as I don't let myself forget, it'll become easier and easier every day. Like when I first started weightlifting during the pandemic, you know, like 10 of these and like I couldn't lift my arm because it was so exhausted. 3 weeks later, I'm lifting double the size weights, just no problem. You know, it's just a matter of getting used to a new process. And I'm going to be 40 someday. I'd like to not feel like I'm 50 when I'm 40. I want to get rid of this build up here. I want to get back down. My objective is to get to 185. I'm about, you know, given, you know, your weight vacillates day to day. I'm anywhere from 25 to 30 pounds away from that. But I'm not going into these health changes with this like, oh, I'm doing it to lose weight. I just know that that's going to naturally happen as I eat better food that's going to better run its course through my body. And also, eating healthier means generally less calories. And I don't want to go below 2,000 calories. I want that to be kind of my 2,000 to 2,200, because I easily, even like a regular work shift at work, I easily burn that many calories. So I know I'll still just gradually, so that will just happen. And then, clearing some of this out will make it easier for me to do what I'm doing here, sitting, having to do stuff, and not having extra stuff here to kind of, meander through. So it is a multifaceted thing. It is, even when I'm with work and walk around a lot at work. Obviously, I go out and vlog, but I haven't really done that recently, like going out and vlogging, which I'm going to start doing again. I've just been working on a lot of at-home projects and working a lot more, so there just hasn't been as many. And of course, the weather's shifting. We had like a whole week of just endless windy weather, which was going to make it really hard to vlog. But just trying to, get in some physical activity every day at least. Eating better, like those are, the two big ones that you focus on, but also there's the stretching, there's the getting back into weightlifting and strengthening certain parts of my body that are not really that strong right now that I want to be stronger as I go into the future. So there's the stretching, there's the remembering to drink water, which is honestly the hardest thing for me to remember, it seems. And, better posture while, if I'm going to be sitting at a computer and being immobile for a while, I might as well at least be in a better situation, a better seated situation than I might normally be in and would have been in the past. So, I just, obviously Thanksgiving happened yesterday, so, that's a cheat day, but I really didn't eat that poorly yesterday anyway. The most unhealthiest thing I ate, I think, was mashed potatoes. But anyway, I started this the day before yesterday. So this is technically, it's like day 2, but it's technically day 3. So I'm right at the start of this thing. So, yeah, I feel like that's the easiest thing to do, is to not put too much on myself too quickly, which then gets you stressed, gets you exhausted. Then when you're going out at work or dealing with life, it gets you more exhausted, and finally you're like, I can't take it, I've had too much of a day, I'm door dashing something unhealthy. And, all it takes is one time. And then all of a sudden the next day you're like, well, I might just DoorDash something again. It's only 2 times, and then you get yourself into that line of thinking. And the next thing you know, you've undone everything that you did prior. And then it's like, well, why did I even bother doing that if I was just going to give up? So again, another reason why it's easier to kind of do a gradual transition and not try to shift everything all at once. It takes time, it takes patience, it makes you deal with stuff that nobody wants to deal with when you're trying to force yourself to be healthy. But for me, knowing me the way I do, that will be the best situation for me. So I just wanted to let you guys know that that's going to be going on now as I'm working on crap for my YouTube and living life and going to work and coming home from work and getting back to work, so on and so forth. So all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. I need to get back to washing the dishes. I don't know why I didn't just wait till the dishes were done to do this. I just kind of felt a spark to do this right now, and so I did it. So anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for your ongoing support here, but I'm assuming primarily on my main channel, Steve the Amateur Historian. And I'll see you later.